All right, guys, we're Wicked Performance. This is our next build. It's a C7 Stingray that we're doing an LT4 conversion kit on. We're about to do some stock pulls before we do the work. That way we have a comparison. Clint, fire that bad boy up.
Guys, so we just got wrapped up with the C7. This is just a stock baseline pull. Falls right in line with any other C7, any LT1 that we normally do. Making just a touch over 400 horsepower to the rear tires. And of course, just pay attention to the flat torque curve on this motor, the direct injected engines by GM, and they lay down some nasty torque. So we started the run right around 2000 and ended at about 5800. No sense in running a stock motor past about 5800. We know where they flatline on horsepower. But once we do this LT4 blower kit, we're going to be adding hopefully around 150 to 180 horsepower to this setup, along with the same amount gains of torque as well. So we're expecting this thing to be somewhere in the high 500s, low 600s, depending on basically how the engine combo responds to this. And we're going to be doing some long tube headers as well, so that'll help get the boost level down a little bit, make this motor setup a little more happier on some 93 octane, along with increasing the exhaust flow and netting some additional horsepower and torque there. But man, this thing, it actually did really good. Very clean car. We can't wait to get our hands in it, and we'll see you on the next step.
Here it is, guys. Noah's just wrapped up on the LT4 conversion, and now we're about to do some road testing. Before we get it on the dyno, we are going to walk through most of the tuning process with you as much as we can while it's on the dyno, so stay tuned for that.
plant over here at Wicked Performance. We got the LT4 Corvette on the dyno. We're about to do some runs. I've already got a little bit of data, been street tuning a little bit. I want to take you guys through kind of how we do the dyno tune process. Not only do we get it on the rollers and start extracting all the horsepower we can out of this thing, but we do put it on the road. We really optimize shift points, shift timing. We want this thing to be smooth on the street, yet nasty when you get in the throttle. Let this thing just breathe as much as possible on the dyno. We can optimize ignition timing, air-fuel ratio, and see really what the motor likes. And then we'll take it to the street after and before the dyno run to kind of see how the power picked up, what the seat of the pants feel is, see if you notice anything clunky with the transmission, go ahead and smooth that out. Get the shifts just nasty at wide open throttle to where if you want to chirp the tires between gears, we can set it that way. We can set it grandma smooth. Whenever the customer tells us what they want with the tune, that's what we go for. So it's not like a one size fits all. We don't just throw whatever we think is going to work for you. We ask the customer, what do they want? And we take it to that point so they're happy every time they leave. So I've already got some data. This is the second run. I've done a lot of street tuning on it at this point, just working through. The conversion on this setup is a little different than like an LT4 or like a Z06 car. We're having to run some different sensors, stuff like that, so I'm having to trick the computer slightly and kind of tickle it a little bit. So got some data. I'm about to do the third run. If everything looks good, we're going to call it there, get it off the dyno, and it's going to go back to the customer. He's got some tires and wheels that we're going to swap on afterwards, so I'll probably do one more test pool on the street with those, just some Forgiatos. You know how we roll down here. And yeah, just join us here in a second. You're going to see it on the dyno, rip it. Hey guys, I want to walk you through what we found on the dyno, how much power we picked up, and the foot-pound of torque increases too. And that's really where this thing shines. So we got the LT4 Corvette off the dyno. Our final max power was 577 horsepower and 646 foot-pounds of torque. And so this thing picked up over 200 foot-pounds of torque and right at 173 horsepower, which that's to be expected on an LT4 combo. So our original dyno graph of the vehicle stock, completely stock, was 404 horsepower and it made 442 foot-pounds of torque. Very flat torque curve. As you can see on these two graphs up here, and the LT4 blower just tremendously kicked the torque in its ass and just took off with it. So we gained over 200 foot-pounds. If I would have started the dyno run a little lower in the RPM range, that would have carried from damn near idle all the way to red line. So this thing feels like a monster on the street. But I do want to reference our horsepower goal that we were shooting for. We originally wanted to be around 600 to the rear tire. You know, things happen. The shop was a little hotter. Unfortunately, the shop temp was 93 degrees that day that we were running it, which is only about a 6-degree change versus our initial run. But that just goes to show you, on a supercharged car, when we're expected 200, just that extra shop heat really kills the IATs. And I think we got some potential for future upgrades to get the IATs down, make a little more power in a hot day, and then definitely pick up to that 200 horsepower mark around a 70-degree day. So this thing did extremely good, man. It feels like a stock car. It's just beautifully smooth. We'll spin the tires through the first 3 or 4 gears if you want to. He's really having a blast with it.